So what are the effects of water pollutions in the human health? A number of vector-borne diseases, a number of heavy metals affect the human health in a significant way. Okay, in this particular picture, a number of heavy metals has been listed. Okay, and the other agents responsible for water pollution has been listed. So you can skip the video and go through one by one. Okay, in order to knowing its effect. So few of the effects includes the mercury, the lead. Mostly they affect the neurological system of our body, the kidney. Okay, lead mostly they affect the kidney, and then arsenic they hamper the normal enzymatic activities of our body, etc. So these are all various type of pollutants, water pollutants, and their negative effects in our body. Okay, you can skip the video and have a look at it. Death of aquatic organisms. Obviously, if the water is polluted, then the favorable conditions required for the growth, living of the life of the for sustaining the life of the aquatic living organisms is badly affected, and this in turn it leads to the death of the aquatic organisms. Okay, mostly the toxic, not biodegradable chemicals accumulate in the food chain, causing biomagnification. Okay, as for example, I've given you the example of DDT once in a particular video. The companies, they release the here in this picture you can see the factories, they are releasing mercury, okay, which is getting accumulated in the water bodies, and it is being fed upon by small fish compared to the then by the primary carnivore, then secondary carnivore, and then the tertiary carnivore. So in the meantime, what happens, based on a particular dosage, the life and the effect of this particular biodegradable substance, non-biodegradable substance can be observed. Okay, that means a slight dose of intake of any sort of chemicals doesn't hamper much inside our body, but upon in the meantime, for that is also for specific chemicals only. Okay, so in the meantime, you see when the small fish is being eaten by the large fish, the concentration of the mercury, as for example in this picture, it gets increases. Okay, and when the large fish consumes the another fish, okay, which has accumulated the mercury in a higher level, then the large fish is also getting affected. So what's happening, the dose is slightly increasing, isn't it? Dose by dose it is increasing, and in a certain level it is getting into a huge quantity. So this is termed as biomagnification. Okay, next is genetic defect. Drinking of contaminated water with radioactive substance may cause cancer, teratogenic changes, that is developmental defects, okay, of the baby, okay, still to be born, and other objects at the genetic level. Obviously, contaminated water has shown to result in this sort of ill effects such as the cancer and the teratogenic defects. Biological oxygen demand. Just for a second. Biological oxygen demand. This means this. Sorry, where is it? Yeah. So biological oxygen demand, mainly it is related to the amount of oxygen consumed by the bacteria and other microorganisms, okay, thereby downing the availability of the oxygen for the other aquatic organisms. Okay, so there are various ranges or values or parameters for the biological oxygen demand. As you can see, the green, yellow, a little bit brownish, and the red one. Okay, this indicates the availability of the oxygen in a particular environment. Okay, if it is 100 or greater, that means the BOD is very much high and the water is very much polluted. There are large number of organic waste. Okay, and you can see in the second picture the fish. Okay, in the left picture you can see the water is very much healthy. There are lots of food available. The green, mostly the algae are present in that particular area. Okay, then the fish is able to live very much happily. In the subsequent picture you can see the fish is very much droopsy in nature. Okay, and so in this way the aquatic organisms get affected due to the BODs. Next is agriculture. Plants require specific nutrients which they get from the soil, isn't it? Polluted waters might kill some of the nutrients, further denying the plant's ability to get them. Okay, that means it hampers the nutrient availability of a particular area, in a particular area, thereby affecting the plant of a particular area. Algal bloom. Algal bloom means the increasing the amount of algae in a particular area due to the availability of nutrients in huge quantity. Okay, sewage accumulated in the coastal water causes rapid increase in the number of dinoflagellates, that is algae, forming a condition called bloom as a result of eutrophication. Okay, this bloom releases toxic substances that cause death of fishes and is called red tide, as you can see in the third picture. Okay, eutrophication, that means the nutrient enrichment of the water bodies, which leads to the biological oxygen demand, thereby choking of gills of fishes and undesirable and unfavorable aquatic conditions affecting the life of aquatic organism. As you can see in the second picture, a boy in the midst of algal bloom. Okay, so what happens, the fishes and all, they are not able to breathe, and whenever they used to go to ingest any prey, this sort of algal growth gets, or other small factors, they get entangled into their gills, thereby choking the fish and the death of the fish. Now, what are the measures to control water pollutions? First and foremost, sewage treatment. Raw sewage should be treated before dumping into the oceans or any sort of grounds where they should not dump. Control of industrial effluents. Okay, that means treatment of the effluents before releasing into the atmosphere. Recycling. Obviously, this is a very much a boon type of thing step. Various kind of recycled waste should be recycled instead of releasing them directly into the water bodies or the environment. Okay, so here you can see in the first picture, the industrial effluents has been released directly into the water bodies. This sort of activities are not been controlled, and it is very much polluting in nature. And on the subsequent picture, you can see from the house, factories, or industries, the wastewater is the water is being treated. Okay, all the effluents has been treated in a water resource recovery facility, thereby making the water available for drinking purpose, for energy in the form of sludges, biosolids, and phosphorus for fertilizers and all. Okay, so this is a good way, isn't it? In the first picture, the waste is being directly released into the environment. In the second picture, the waste is being processed and recycled, okay, in order to obtain certain beneficiary items such as the water, energy, biosolids, and fertilizer, etc. Okay, control of agriculture waste is very much important because fertilizers and pesticides are being used in enormous quantity in India, and upon releasing of this upon washing away of this fertilizers or chemicals, they get directly into the water bodies and thereby affect the quality of the air. Obviously, reducing the use of chemicals is very much important, because instead of this, mostly the chemicals are used, such as the pesticides, are used to remove away the pest, isn't it? So we can use the biological methods instead for removing this such sorts of pests. Okay, as for example, the rats are tends to degrade, eat away all our crops, maize, wheats, etc. Isn't it? So what we can do, we can release snakes. Okay, because we know snakes normally they don't eat grass, so in this regard our crops are getting saved, and the enemy of our crops, that is the rat, are being killed. Okay, enactment of the laws. Obviously, laws are very much important. Okay, that is planning of certain law. Okay, implementation of certain law. Okay, is very much important, and keeping a check of this whether the law is being implemented or not is also very much important. Okay, for controlling the effects of water pollution. Next is your soil pollutions. That is any undesirable change in the quality of the land. Soil pollution is a part of land degradation. Okay. Now here you can see the number of waste materials is being released into the or dumped into the soil. Okay. So this particular area is now badly affected, and any sort of agricultural growth activities or plantation activities might not occur in this particular area. Okay. That is the soil flora, particular soil flora, and the microorganism is badly affected in that particular area, thereby making it infertile and very much degraded. So what are the causes of soil pollution? Accidents of vehicles, mostly the accidental leakage in the form of the oil tankers, industrial that is breakage, tank breakage, etc. Accidents of vehicles that carry fuels or waste directly affects the soil. The leakage of isotopes and radioactive waste from the atomic power plant also cause soil pollution. Okay, chemicals, mostly various chemicals that are used in our day-to-day life, such as the pesticides, insecticides, various fertilizers, etc., when used in excess, causes soil pollution. Acid rain, as I have stated earlier, the gases like sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide gets mixed with the rainwater to form sulfuric acid and nitric acid, thereby coming down on the earth's surface as a rain, which corrodes the soil surface. Okay, it affects the vegetations and of that particular area, and also it makes the land infertile. Okay. Domestic sewage and garbage, obviously the improper disposal of this sort of domestic sewage and garbage badly affects the particular land area. You can see in the pictures above. Industrial waste, obviously the untreated waste, the non-biodegradable, mostly they contain various type of chemicals, heavy metals, etc. This in turn affects the quality of the soil. Deforestation, clearing of trees, obviously they leave the soil exposed, the land exposed to various natural factors, thereby affecting thereby the impact of the heavy rain, or you can say the hailstorms, etc. This all they badly affect the land. Okay, and the soil remains exposed upon deforestation. Okay, and this leaves the land is barren and totally incapable of in the meantime, after the such impacts of the natural factors. Okay, and the lands gets defertile. Okay, and this in turn affects the vegetation of the particular area. Major effects of soil pollution: the physical, chemical and biological properties of the soil changes, obviously we know. Okay, the toxicity level of the soil increases, heavy metals destroy the useful microorganisms present in the soil. Okay, and we know the soil soil is related to a number of factors such as the human beings, animals, climate, sulfur and groundwater. Okay, relief and the flora of a particular area. So if the soil of a particular area is affected, if obviously directly or indirectly the other factors are also hampered as well. And mostly we know the vegetations or the food products. Okay, mostly it is obtained from the plants, and the plants need soil in order to grow, right? So if the soil is affected, the plant is affecting, and if the plants are affecting, that means the food availability is also affecting, thereby the human beings get affected. Okay, then excess fertilizer alters the soil by creating too much high salt concentration, thereby making the soil very much inhospitable or inhabitable. Okay, so here you can see the application of excess fertilizer has led to growth, no doubt has led to the increase in plant in terms of the height, but in terms of the roots get restricted. Okay, the length of the roots are very much restricted, thereby they cannot absorb the water to the full extent as much as per its requirement. So this happens when you apply too much of fertilizer in your land. Okay, so it is said that the mankind is very much human beings are very much of greedy nature, so they want everything to be very much rapid, and they want everything to be in a greater extent, many more quantity, isn't it? So obviously we know the fertilizers are very much good for the growth of plants. Okay, for the growth of plants, not in regards of the pollution. For the growth of plants, it is very much good. So mankind, what he does, he applies a number of much quantity to the greater than that of the permissible limit, with an expectation that it will get cucumber as of his height. Okay, but that is not a fact. Okay, there is a certain limit to each and everything. Next is your improper dumping of sewage in the soil gave rise to many vector-borne diseases. Obviously, there are a large number of diseases which are born in this such type of dirt areas. Okay, increasing of food at that are grown in the ingesting of food that are grown in toxic soil affects the health of other organisms. Obviously, if you eat a polluted or that a toxic vegetable or fruit, obviously it is going to affect your health. Okay, now we know the plants mostly they obtain their nutrients directly from the soil. So might be the toxin which has accumulated inside the plant or the vegetable or the fruit has come from the polluted soil, right? And this in turn, when ingested by the human beings, creates a number of diseases. So here you can see this in this picture, in one picture there is a plant, tomato plant. Let us say it is a tomato plant. I am not sure whether it is tomato plant or not, but still let us assume it is a tomato plant. Here you can see the size and number of tomato is greatly reduced. Okay, the roots are also not very much well expanded form, and a lot of microorganism tends to inhibit that particular area. Harmful vectors, harmful pathogens tends to dominate that particular area. So upon ingesting such fruits or vegetable, what will happen? Obviously our health system is gonna get compromised. Okay, in the other picture on the right, you can see the good variety, good yielding tomatoes can be seen. Okay, the roots are also in a very much expanded fashion, thereby acquiring much of the nutrients and much of the water from the soil. So upon eating that particular area vegetable, the health remains good. Okay, so it is this picture states it is very much important to check what we are eating and what not. Okay, because good food means good medicine, good food means good health. Okay, overall the soil effect of the soil affects the soil pollution affects the health of the human beings, the growth of the plants. It decreases the soil fertility, toxic dust accumulation takes place, the soil structure of the soil changes, the poisoning of the underground table takes place, because when the rainwater steeps down into the underground, it perlocates into the ground, it the various type of chemicals which are present in the soil gets mixed with certain type of certain amount of water, certain type of chemicals that get mixed, mostly the heavy metals they get mixed, and then it can get contaminated into the groundwater as well. So what are the control measures of soil pollution? So mostly the controlled tripping or sanitary landfill method should be followed for proper disposal. So what is controlled tripping? Controlled tripping basically means controlled burial. Okay, here you can see the JCB is digging the ground, and in the ground the waste is being dumped. Okay, the buried, so as to say. So, and proper disposal of solid waste is very much important. So what do you mean by proper disposal? Suppose in our house we need to keep different type of dustbins based on the quality or the type of waste that is generated. We should separate them and place it in each and every dustbin, so that it is easier for us to process. Okay, as for example the vegetables peels, etc., the fruits leftover, etc., this all come under the category of biodegradable waste, organic waste. So we can convert this into manure, okay, by composting. Okay, and then we can apply it into our kitchen garden, or we can apply it into our farm, etc. So this sort of methods should be observed, and recycling of solid waste should be emphasized. Obviously those which can be converted into organic manure. Okay, what we should do, we should first and foremost we should contact the recycling factories. We should pass on to them such as the bottles, the plastic, etc., so that they can recycle and it can be used back. Okay, so I think this is a good way to check the extent of the pollutants releasing in the environment. Then regulation in the use of inorganic fertilizer. Obviously regulation is very much more important. Okay, here are a number of symbols which are more occasionally they are pasted, or they are there with that of the fertilizer bags or polythenes or covers. Okay, so this clearly tells about the quality or the nature of that particular pesticide, as for example whether it is inflammable or not. Okay, whether it is explosive of nature, whether it is oxidizing nature, whether it is very much toxic or not, how harmful or not for the living organisms. Okay, so this sort of sign will indicates about the nature of the particular pesticides or fertilizer that the farmer is using, thereby making him conscious about how to use it and not. Here you can see there are a number of symbols for the hazardous symbol for the certain type of fertilizer, that is urea, phosphate, potassium nitrate, etc. Okay, there here in this second column the hazardous type has been stated. Then what are the precautions that to be taken in case any accidents occurred. So you can skip the video and have a look at it. Okay, so this is another one. Okay, sewage containing biodegradable materials can be converted into organic manure. Okay, like I said, all the sewage mostly from the household activities, okay, the vegetable peels, etc., they can be converted into organic manure and can be used as a fertilizer. So it's a very good measure to control the biodegradable pollutions, organic pollutions, pollutants, isn't it? Pesticides should be avoided rather than biological pest killing method should be adopted, as I stated the example of the rat and snake. Okay, so here you can see the biocontrol agents. Okay, maybe anything, maybe bacteria, virus, fungi, any plants or any animals. Okay, what they do, they for the pathogens they secrete the antibiotics, right? For certain bacteria they secrete lytic enzymes, right? And for other cases they might act as a parasite. So these are all biocontrol active methods. Okay, so to check the extent of the pest affecting our crops. Okay, and this they don't have any side effects. Okay, to 100%. It is not, it can be guaranteed to the extent of 100%. As for example, if I give you the example of the rat and snake, the rat, obviously the snake is controlling the rat, but what happens if the rat is been totally eradicated from that particular area? The snake won't be able to survive, isn't it? So this will hamper the growth, the sustenance of the snake. And most of the time the seed dispersal mechanism was also taken place by this sort of pest, rats, etc. Proper insulation of industries like atomic power is very much important. Obviously the radiations, when exposed or leaked, it badly affects the particular environment. So you should properly insulate the point, okay, of origination or the source in which you are experimenting, or the radioactive substances are being utilized. Okay. Okay, so here this is a very good control measures point of view. Okay, here you can see the food waste sources and collection from the agriculture area or commercial area can be transported, okay, and it can be converted into the potential into manure, okay, in the processing and treatment plants, okay, and it can be applied, okay, into the soil to increase the fertility, to increase the plant productivity, and obviously as a nutrient. Okay, on the other hand, you can see if all the waste materials are transported into the landfills, that is directly dumping into certain land area, what will happen? Various type of greenhouse gases will be emitted, or on the other hand the leaching will take place, and odor, okay. So this sort of negative effects will take place. So it is better if we bring all this organic waste into the processing and treatment area and utilize it again, reutilize it for the growth of subsequent crops. Okay. So overall, biological the soil pollutions can be controlled by the biological treatment, the chemical treatment, the physical treatment, and all this will lead to the soil stabilization. Okay, and a good soil, a healthy soil supports a healthy ecosystem, supports the ecosystem. Okay, as for example, a healthy soil will have water storage and filtration quality, carbon capture quality, storage, biological function, diversity, productivity, capacity. Okay, so healthy soil supports healthy and functional ecosystem. So the last topic, that is your noise pollution, means any unwanted, irregular, unrhythmic, offensive sound. Okay, which is really disturbing to our ears, okay, and which may result to various type of mental fatigue, headache, high blood pressure, hypertension, etc. Okay, so to be very much precise, noise pollution is any unwanted or unrhythmic sound, okay, which is not bearable for our ears and creates a number of physical and psychological disorders. So how to know what are the certain limits of sound? So as per the World Health Organization, it defines noise above 65 decibels. Decibel is the unit in which the sound is measured. Okay, so as per the WHO, the noise above 65 decibel is termed as noise pollution, and when it exceeds 75 decibel, it is stated to be harmful, and upon crossing 120 decibel, it is extremely painful for our ears. So here you can see there is a chart in which you can see there are green, yellow, and red symbols marking, right, colorization. This states about the various category of the sound, that is faint, loud, soft, extremely loud, painful, etc. Okay, so remember, as per the WHO, noise above 65 decibel is considered to be a noise pollution. So what are the sources of noise pollution? It is very much common to you. Very much common example, that is automobiles, construction works. In the traffic, we can see that many of the people, they are honking, they are constantly honking their horns, even though they can see that certain obstructions is there in front. Okay, and honking won't matter, but still they still continue the honking, hoping that automatically the blockage will get away. Okay, and you can see the harmful, the exhaust engines. Okay, most of the vehicular engines, when they get old, they tend to make a large amount of noise. Okay, so this also contributes to the noise pollution. So heavy traffic, obviously, when most of the people, if they blow the horn in a rhythmic fashion, also it can be beard, but most of the time you can see in a traffic no one is blowing the horn in a rhythmic fashion, rather in an unrhythmic way, and this affects much. Okay, construction works, various construction works involve the use of heavy machines, isn't it? And this sort of machines creates a lot of noises. Okay, and the construction workers, they have to bear this sort of noises, because it's for their bread, isn't it? So industries, yes, various machines, heavy machines present in the industries, they make a large amount of noises. Okay, other sources includes the burning of crackers, use of loudspeakers, recreational activities, explosion of bomb, massive angry debates, etc. These are all source of noise pollution. Now, what are the effects of noise pollution? Physical, it's respiratory problems, racing pulse, high blood pressure, headaches, and in case of extremely loud, constant noise, gastritis, colitis, low digestion, and even heart attacks. So psychologically, it causes stress, isn't it? Whenever we are in traffic and there are lots of noises, we get very much angry or aggressive. Okay, it causes irritation. It causes stress, fatigue, that is mental stress, aggressive behavior, anxiety, and hysteria in both human and animals. Not only in the human beings, it also the noise pollution also affects the animals as well. So in the picture below, you can see there are lots of effects. Okay, affecting the various regions of our body. You can skip the video and you can read at it. We can read it. Okay. Then sleep and behavioral disorders. Obviously, noise above 45 decibels stops us from getting sleep. Okay, from falling asleep. Okay, thereby affecting the biological clock of our body. According to the World Health Organization, it should be no more than 30 decibels. So obviously, and then you can see the memory and concentration. Obviously, if there is a loud noise, you can't concentrate. Okay, and if you can't concentrate, obviously your memory gets affected. Memory power gets affected because there's a saying that concentration is the key to improve memory power. Okay, so you can see if there is lot of sounds, okay, in your particular area, then you cannot focus in your study. You cannot give attention to particular statements or words, and there's no flexibility. That is, you don't have that mental quick solving or decision making quality. Okay, and creativity gets hampered. If you cannot concentrate, then obviously you can't think for a particular idea. That is, creativity is hampered, the speed is hampered, that is the speed of solving a particular sum gets hampered, the memory obviously it hampers. Okay, so noise not only affects our physiology but also our psychology as well. Hearing loss, okay, listening to loud noises for a long time can overwork our hair cells in the ear, which can cause these cells to die. Okay, there are small hair cells present in our body which are sensory hair cells. Okay, they are very much helpful for the hearing process. So the hearing loss progress as long as the exposure continues. Harmful effects might continue even after the noise has been removed. Okay, so this is a permanent case in which the hearing loss takes place subsequently once it is started, because you see the noise, okay, it comes in the form of vibrations, and this sort of vibrations totally shatters the ear, internal portions of the ear. Okay, affecting the segments, each and every segments of the ear. Okay, leading to hearing loss. Damage to the inner ear or auditory neural system is generally permanent. Okay, premature death, deadly noise can accumulate over time to block blood vessels and trigger a heart attack, irregular heartbeat leading to blood clots, stroke, and even heart failure. Okay, so the effect of noise is very much harmful, as you can see. Okay, it may, in extreme cases, it may lead to hearing loss as well as the premature death. Okay. Now, what are the control measures of noise pollution? We can reduce the effect of noise pollution simply by minimizing the source of the noise or the extent of the noise being created. Okay, first and foremost, by turning off the appliances when not in use, by turning off the machines when not in use, by turning off the car engine when not in use, use of earplugs. Okay, this is for the factory workers, etc., or a very noisy area. Okay, you can't go and stop that stop affecting being done in the daytime. You can't go and stop the vehicles from moving on around in the daytime. Okay, for the office work course, etc. So what you can do, you can simply use the earplugs for a short limited period of time. Okay, lowering the volume. Obviously, if you are listening to some sort of music, then you should have an understanding that the loud noise might be irritating, or it might affect the health of some ill persons. Okay, in and around an area. Not only in persons, it badly affects the healthy persons as well. Plantation of more trees, obviously it is very much beneficial for the mostly for the urban areas. In the middle of the road, if you plant the trees are known to be a good absorbers of the observer of the noises. So you can understand this by the fact that the sound, it requires some medium to travel. Okay, if it finds a solid medium, it bounces back. So the lips, they act as an irregular medium, and meanwhile when the sound comes in, it gets scattered, okay, into small fragments, and thereby minimizing the extent of the noise. Okay, regular maintenance of the vehicles and machines is very much important. Because you know the old machines and the engines, they tend to produce more sounds than the newer ones. So if you will have to keep a check, you will have to maintain it. Okay, then maintaining permissible limits, that means the limits, the standards which are being required to be followed should be followed, okay, by the mankind, by voluntarily, okay, without the extent of without the pressure of any other individuals. Okay, it is we who should be sensible in this sort of things. Okay, that means we should not create an issue for neither for us nor for others. Okay, so now how to deal with this such sort of noises in a broad level. First, you need to identify the noise issues, that is the sources from which it is coming, the purpose for which the noise is being generated. Then you should plan noise mitigation or control measures. Okay, as for example, various measures have, like I have stated. Okay, and then you should implement it. Not only planning, implementation is very much required. Okay, and then assessing the correctiveness of the action, that means whether what the measures you have taken is working out or not, you should assess it. Then periodic review, then you should obviously this is mostly for the factories and the car owners, vehicle owners, the heavy machine owners, they should have a periodic review as in terms of the quality of the engines, whether they are okay or not. Okay, then continual improvement. Obviously, if today, like various factory machines are making a large amount of sounds, so what are the measures, or what are the way in which I can minimize the effect of this sound noise pollution, is to be checked. Okay, and if required, I can introduce a if required, we try to improve the particular setup. As for example, suppose a particular machine is making too much noises, we can build up a glass area around it. Okay, we can cover it with a glass shield, so that at least the effect can be minimized. So these are all certain control measures of noise pollutions. In the upcoming video, we shall be dealing about the solid waste management. Okay, so till then, please go through all these slides, and the contents are put in the various precise manner. Okay, obviously we can put a large number of datas, okay, for additional knowledge, but still, due to the lack of time, as well as due to the requirement of your top syllabus, this sort of contents, I think, is pretty much enough for you all. Okay, so go through all these slides and the contents, and obviously you should take the help of internet also for having this current scenarios about all these contents, all these topics. Okay, and for some additional knowledge as well. And in case you find any difficulties, so do let me know at my WhatsApp number. Okay, till then, that's all for today, and thank you very much.